AEW Dynamite 250 gave us something we probably should have waited till All in London for.
And in WWE, 2 world titles are confirmed for SummerSlam.
It's time to roll around the ring. All right, AEW celebrated their 250th episode of
250.
Dynamite. 250. And they kicked off, they teased it the week before, and it was a question mark. I mentioned it last week on the show. Are they actually going to go through with MJF versus Will Ospreay for the international title?
And boy, did they.
And I said, let me tell you, I said last week, if this match goes for 90 seconds or less, it'll be the biggest mistake of Tony Khan's booking career.
90 seconds, he says.
I said 90 seconds.
90
if
seconds.
this match even rings the bell and they give us any form of match, it's going to be the biggest mistake.
They ring the bell and just a chair shot.
Yeah, right? Like, or MJF, like, I was thinking, like, MJF would, like, cheat his way out of it, or, like, not yet, or
Finger
whatever.
Poke of Doom.
Finger poke of
there we
doom.
go.
Oh, see? So I thought maybe some shenanigans to lead to an All in London match. No, not only did they go 90 seconds, they went an hour.
Quadruple up and more on that 90 seconds.
Yeah, like we just went for multiple commercial breaks.
Multiple 90 seconds.
Multiple 90 seconds. An hour. Half of Dynamite was MJF versus Will Ospreay. Before we get into what actually went down in this match, how do you feel about them following through and giving us this match so soon with All in London a month away?
I feel like I'm supposed to be upset that they gave it away on Dynamite. But given what we saw, can I really be mad at that?
Sure.
Like, I'm like, well, you might want to... See, this match would have been great for the pay-per-view. But then I'm like, but this match at this length, though?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have... It makes more sense the way they did it, which I'm going to anger a lot of people in the way I say this, but that's hard to say for AEW sometimes.
Sure. No, I mean, it's the truth, first off. Everyone's going to get mad, but it is known, right? Ethan Page just mentioned going over to NXT how things are much more organized, right? It seems like everyone that goes from AEW to WWE or somewhere else mentions some form of, hey, it's organized over here, right? So it's not us just talking shit. Like, we are basing it off what people who have been in that locker room have said.
Yes.
Obviously, Punk is at the top of that list.
CM Punk says a lot.
CM Punk says a lot. Yes.
About a lot of places, a lot of people.
If they went an hour on All In, we're talking from a 4-hour pay-per-view already to 5 or 6, right? Yeah. I get that. But I don't think Tony Khan or anyone who disagrees with this realizes how big of a deal this match is.
Yeah.
This is a dream match. Keep in mind, Will Ospreay was set to be a free agent. People thought when he left New Japan, could he go to WWE? This is a match we've never seen before. They've never, done anything together. This is 2 of your biggest stars. They're both young. This is your biggest stars right now and your biggest stars of the future. They use the term dream match a lot. They bring in some random person from Mexico and they say dream match with Bryan Danielson. I don't even know who the hell Bryan Danielson's facing.
His Bryan Danielson's dream match.
Sure, which shout out to Bryan getting his dream match, but it's like...
Friend of the show.
But we hear the term dream match a lot in AEW. This is an actual dream match.
Yes.
You have your WrestleMania in a month, right? All In was the first AEW show way back when. It's their biggest show in terms of where it is, the crowd size, everything. You have 2 of your biggest stars who have never touched before. You just started this rivalry. Like, you have one promo with MJF on the screen.
Right.
They've never even been in the ring together since MJF turned heel.
We fast-tracked to this.
And we just went, and here's where I get pissed off. And I mean, it's the biggest mistake in terms of booking for Tony Khan when it comes to how big of a deal this match is. And what I keep preaching, especially when you look over to WWE and say, I can get all the pay-per-views, all the PLEs for $10, whatever it is, a month. Right? And they give me a pay-per-view every 3 to 4 weeks. So you're talking 10 to 12 pay-per-views. AEW, A, the number of pay-per-views have gone up. And B, you are asking me to pay $50 to watch your show.
Yeah.
What am I getting on the pay-per-view that I'm not getting on Dynamite in Collision? Right? Why am I paying $50 to watch said pay-per-view, but I don't have to pay to watch Dynamite? What is the difference here? Those pay-per-views need to feel special. And when I say feel special, I don't mean 4 hours of wrestling, right? I mean something enhanced from what we see on the regular TV show. If you're giving away shit like this for free on TV, why are people going to pay to watch your pay-per-views?
This is why WWE is a lot more successful. And again, I'm saying this, and I'm not shitting on what we saw, because the match was. It's gonna be match of the year candidate, and again another one of those involving Will Ospreay, but. This is why I think it's important, at least from my opinion, you book your weekly television to a story, not to a reaction. You can book moments on weekly television where it's like, oh, this big return, debut, whatever, Swerve, fine. But when you're just consistently every week, every show is, we're going to give you the biggest, best match all the time, now your pay-per-views are going to mean less.
Yes.
Because you're giving me everything on a weekly basis. I don't have to wait for it anymore. And then when I do, and then when you have the pay-per-view, to your point, now you're asking me to pay $50 for it. Why? You gave it to me on Wednesday and on Saturday. Why do I need to pay $50 for it? At
this point, I don't mean it in the sense that their pay-per-views suck, because their pay-per-views, they've had more good ones than bad ones. But at this point, their pay-per-views feel like 4-hour dynamites, right? Which, first off, 4 hours, way too long. I don't care. I love wrestling. But come on. Like, I said this about WWE, and like Triple H mentioned it at the press conference after Money in the Bank. You know, when WrestleMania was pushing 5-6 hours, as much as we love, it's not an AEW thing. It's a wrestling thing. I don't need my wrestling shows going 4, 5, 6 hours, right?
No.
Within 3 hours, and get me out of there. That's number one. And the second thing, again, is just like, there's no anticipation, right? The beauty about wrestling, and whether you want to admit it or not, and Tony Khan continues to say he books for the sickos, and he says, you know, they want to be different from WWE. Fine, whatever. You want to be, you know, be your own thing. But when it comes to wrestling, you have to have a meaning behind it, right? People who I've been called a story queen before, right? Because I need a story. Why do you always need a story? Because when you watch two people hitting each other for no reason, why do I care?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Give me a reason to care, because guess what? I've been watching wrestling for 25 years. I've seen every type of match you can think of. I've seen great matches, bad matches, every type of superstar, male and female, that you can think of.
Yep.
At this point in the stage of wrestling, give me a reason to care about this match more than the others. And when you have MJF and Will Ospreay, two of the biggest stars in wrestling, not just AEW, young stars who are going to be around for 20 years assuming health, and they are finally in the same company, and you got the biggest show. And that's the other thing, too. If we're talking about this 3 months from now after Allin, like, okay, you know, your other pay-per-views aren't as big. You have your biggest show of the year a month away, and you put your two biggest stars, no offense to Swerve, MJF and Will Ospreay are 1 and 2.
Your two pillars.
Your pillars.
As of now, they are your new pillars holding this company up.
You put them in a story together. They've never, ever done anything together. A huge dream match with your biggest show a month away. And instead of giving us a story to add to that anticipation, wanting us to see them touch, wanting us to see them do something, you say, cool, it's happening next week. And you give us a match of the year on free TV. And I guess, what do you do now with Allin? Because again, Allin is supposed to feel bigger than your Dynamites and your Collisions, because I have to pay $50 to watch it, right? Think about, not even that. Think about how much money people had to pay to go to that show compared to a Dynamite or Collision. So, cool, you got something awesome on free TV, and you got something awesome for less money going to Dynamite Live. But now I'm paying a lot more to watch Allin live, whether I'm watching it live in person or watching it at home. Why is this show bigger than Dynamite? So what do you do with this now?
I mean, what's the stipulation? Do you throw them in a cage? Do you do an I Quit match? We saw that recently, so you don't want to go right back to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, what is the next thing after what you saw? Again, not taking away from the match, because if you just look at the match itself, despite circumstantially, the match was great. To the point where it didn't even feel like an hour. It felt like a lengthy match, but you're so engaged in it, what's happening, that you can almost forgive it being an Iron Man match.
Yes.
It was a great match. But we're talking about the booking here, the decision-making of having it on Dynamite versus Allin, where it's like, okay, so now what do you do for the biggest event?
Yeah.
What do you say? We're going to just slap him in a cage or throw him in a cage. We're going to put another stipulation on it. Okay, great. But we've saw the best that these two can offer in a match. Now we're just going to throw an object in the way.
And that's the thing. A stipulation, you're not going to get a better match than what you saw. In terms of length, they went almost an hour. You're not going to get that at a pay-per-view no matter what the stipulation. No matter what you do, their second match is not going to live up to the first, right? It's going to take a lot. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know if it's possible. And the fact that we're going to go to All In and potentially see this match again and go, the Dynamite match was better.
Yeah.
But we're watching this on the biggest show of the year. So in terms of what they do for All In, how do you feel about MJF being the one to win here and taking that title off Will Ospreay?
I didn't expect that.
No.
And I don't know if I agree with that decision.
No.
I don't, because I don't immediately, I separated that decision from enjoying what I saw with that match. Now, I really love this match, but when him winning, I'm thinking, okay, I don't know where you go with this, and I don't know what it does for either person. Because if now your point is just to have Will Ospreay in the hunt, in the chase to get that title back, you're kind of telling me Will Ospreay should have had that title, ran with it for a while, and then upgraded.
Sure.
Not stay in that mix.
Sure. Going into this story, if they would have actually, again, told a story, built up the anticipation of this match to All In, I wouldn't have been surprised, and I probably would have had MJF win at All In, and I would have been completely okay with that.
It would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense. Ospreay has had a run with it. I'm okay with that. MJF, I love that they haven't just thrown him back into the world title picture, face or heel. And they got him in, even though this is probably the biggest match on the All In London card, in the mid card, right? Not going for the world title. I love that, right? MJF's doing great work. Say what you will about the heel turn. I didn't think it was necessary, right? But it would have made a lot of sense. The fact that you've not only fast-tracked this match happening for the first time ever with All In right around the corner, you fast-tracked them having what's probably going to be their best match of whatever series of matches that they have. And you fast-tracked a big decision to take the title off Ospreay. These are all big moments that give me a reason to watch All In and pay more money to watch All In.
You've condensed a month-long and then some story into one night.
Yeah.
Just to say, we gave you a great match on Dynamite.
And here's the thing, man. They did it for the 250th anniversary of Dynamite, 250th episode.
Yeah.
Look.
That's in Little Rock, Arkansas, in front of like 3,000 people.
Yes. Like, no
offense to... Okay, everybody that showed up in Arkansas on Wednesday got a hell of a show.
Yep, good on them. But Arkansas...
You're doing this in front of 3,000 people. I know that AEW, let's just be real here. They're not raking in WWE numbers as far as attendance. They're not pulling in 17, 18, 19,000, 20,000 people.
No.
They're not doing that. And that's okay in the sense of their programming can still be good. You can build on that. But you gave me a match that should have been saved for your biggest event of the year.
Yes.
You paid off, to your point, every possible facet of this match in one night in a city where it's like, we're going to go to bumfuck Florida and give them, a triple threat match for the world title. We're going to crown a new champion.
Shout out to bumfuck Florida, man.
Shout out to bumfuck Florida. But why are we doing that instead of giving you really good build to it? So hey, all these people, 3,000 people in Arkansas, make sure you buy the pay-per-view to watch this.
And they also did it, and their excuse is, well, it's the 250th episode of Dynamite. Look, that is like those couples who celebrate their 15-month anniversary. Yeah. Hey, it's our 16-month anniversary. Hey, it's our 45-month anniversary.
We've been dating for 17 days.
Like, oh my, are we going out tonight? Like that's what it feels like. Like, no, like, congratulations on reaching 250 episodes, but come on.
Get at me at 500.
Yeah, like you're gonna waste your biggest match for like not even a bit. Like you didn't even reach 500 yet. Like you're calling 250.
This, and again, there's gonna be people that watch this and they're gonna say you guys are just shitting on AEW.
Sure,
I'm not shitting on AEW to shit on AEW. Again, the match was great. That's gonna be a big running theme of the match was good, but the match was good. The match was excellent.
Yes.
It's not the point.
It is the perfect example of what is wrong with AEW. They have phenomenal stars there.
Yes.
They do. They have great wrestlers. They have great wrestling matches. It is the booking, right? Because guess what?
Always.
I've watched thousands of great wrestling matches.
Yes.
Why do I care about this one more than the others? What is it? The story behind it.
Not only that, but they're building backwards. Prime example in a more modern time would be Shawn Michaels and John Cena, WrestleMania 23, right here in Detroit.
Right here in Detroit.
Main event match was fine. I think that WrestleMania, as far as title matches go, Batista and Undertaker killed it. They stole the show with that one. Shawn Michaels and John Cena gave you a better match later, I think like a week or two later on Raw.
Yes.
Longer match, damn near an Iron Man match.
Yep.
Outdid their WrestleMania match.
Yes.
They didn't start with that one and then say, and now watch us go one-on-one at WrestleMania. No, that's not how you do it.
No.
That's my problem, it's the booking.
I would have, as much as people would have been frustrated, I would have been more okay with a disqualification finish of a decent match at All In, and then this match on a Dynamite afterwards.
To solidify a winner.
Yes. Right? Now you're either going to have Will Ospreay take a second loss in a month to MJF in this rivalry, have MJF drop the title right back a month later because we're in All In, or you're going to have some disqualification BS finish, right?
You've booked yourself into a corner now where nothing really makes sense anymore.
Do you involve Daniel Garcia at all? Because he keeps being brought up in this. Do you want to see him involved, potentially make it a triple threat at All In?
I don't know about making a triple threat. You can have him. But then what do you do? Have him come back and cost MJF the title? Now, see, 'cause here's the thing with the match at All In should have been for one of these guys, both of these guys, have their big match, half of the time frame that we saw on Dynamite.
Right.
Then they just go off. No matter who wins, you can either have a rematch, but either way, you're breaking this feud off now into something else.
Right.
For both people.
Right.
You can't really do that now without looking like you're just abruptly ending something.
Right. Look, I don't think Daniel Garcia, they keep pushing him, and he is a good young talent. That's great. Good for him. Friend of the show as well. Being on in the main picture with these names like this. I don't think he's ready for a stage like All In London. I thought it made a lot of sense, and they still might do this. They have All Out right after All In. Yeah. Right? It's like 2 weeks after.
As one does.
As one does.
All in, and then you go all out because the pull-out game should be that strong.
Within 2 weeks.
Within two, that's a long time staying.
A long time. But when it comes to that, I thought it made a lot of sense if you, again, built this to an All In match, MJF wins it All In, and then have Daniel Garcia, MJF at All Out, a lesser pay-per-view, but you're still giving Daniel Garcia a title match on a pay-per-view and giving him a moment like that, which he's already had, by the way, with Christian, a while earlier this year. So I think that would have made more sense, and they still might go that route, but the problem is, again, Will Ospreay is either going to take a second loss, or this MJF title run's only going to last a month.
You could get to that match with MJF and Daniel Garcia if Daniel Garcia shows up to cost him the title. Yeah. But then it's like, did we have to do that and give MJF the title on Dynamite to get to this? No. You see what I'm saying? But the triple threat could be an all-out match. It could be, but I don't know why. Again, I'm a fan of Daniel Garcia. I think next year at All In, he could be, if everything's handled properly, the kid could be main eventing. Sure. Right now, you're a bridge player in a bigger story. Yes. And that's where you're kind of at. I don't know if I want to put him in a triple threat match because really it's like now we're just doubling down, throwing someone in the mix of a match that you already kind of made seem irrelevant because you gave the best of this feud away on Dynamite. Right. Let's get over to WWE SummerSlam coming up, only a couple weeks away, believe it or not. Yeah. Feels like I just watched the WrestleMania main event a couple weeks ago. I go back and rewatch that a lot. So, yeah, it feels like that every day. Right? That actually happened, yeah. 2 world title matches have been confirmed for the show. Let's start on the women's side of things. On Raw, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan will go one-on-one for the women's world title. Rhea Ripley came back a couple weeks ago. Of course, the whole love triangle, whatever you want to call it, with Dom Mysterio. How do you feel Rhea Ripley's return has been handled up until this point? So you had made the comment, and I agree with you. I feel like her animosity and anger is a little subdued. And I'm like, oh, so okay, we're just kind of coming back, and now you're telling Dom that he belongs to you and giving him the flower back. And then I'm like, okay, so I feel like we're just focusing solely. We're erasing this whole soap opera piece of it, right? And we're just focusing solely on your title, which fine, I guess. Sure. That's my take on that. I don't know. I don't think the title is the biggest, and nothing against the title. Again, we talked about story in AEW. The story makes the title look more important, right? And like I mentioned last week, Rhea Ripley, and I doubled down on this watching her. Like,
I said that after just, a 30-second clip of her coming out at the end of Raw. Like, she had no promo. She had no nothing. I'm like, okay, maybe it's coming.
We'll get it next week.
Yeah, we're going to get it, right? I doubled down even harder on what I said last week after watching her first full Raw back. How are you not, like, Rhea Ripley has been known, like, her whole, like, vibe has been don't piss her off.
Yeah.
She is crazy. She has gone crazy for far less. You have someone who literally told you, I'm going to take everything away from you. And she has successfully done that.
Yes.
She put you on the shelf. She took your title. And now she's got your man.
Working on taking your man. Yeah.
She's got your crew, basically, except for Priest. Like, that actually like her.
Yeah.
Shout out to Finn Balor and JD, by the way. Finn Balor, JD, and Carlito have made these segments fun.
They really
And
have.
if you didn't notice, go back and watch their backstage segment. They were playing WWE 2K, and they were definitely playing Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley.
I think I might have missed that one.
That is amazing. Shout out to them. But you come back. You have been known as the, I mean this in a complimentary wrestling way, psycho, right? Like crazy. Oh my, don't piss her off. She's gonna. And, like, Priest built it up. Like, dude, Rhea's going to be back. You better figure this shit out. Like,
I'm not going to protect you.
I'm not, right?
I'm out of this. Yeah.
And not only is she not that pissed off, she's barely gone after Liv, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't even chase after her. Liv gets out of there.
She watches her run away.
She watches her run away. Like, go after her. I expect Rhea to be sprinting through the crowd with her.
Now you're making googly eyes at Jey Uso.
Yeah,
What's happening
Jey Uso.
Shout out to Jey Uso, though.
Yeah, shoot your shot, man.
Shoot, man. What are you gonna
I
do?
love it. Good on you, man. But, like, you have Rhea just almost, and again, we'll see where it goes, but forgiving Dom, right? That whole "you belong to me" segment, like, that gives the whole powerful mommy vibe, but that's her. She should want nothing to do with Dom.
Yeah.
I expected Dom to take some bumps from Rhea, right? Like, screw, like, you don't deserve me. Get away.
But the way that this whole build-up has been built is Dom is the championship.
Yeah.
Because what has Liv's title meant outside of anything involving Zelina Vega, who's not even the primary focus in this feud?
No, but shout out to Zelina Vega, because I did not know she was so damn funny. She has been awesome on the mic.
She's gotten her time to shine.
Yes.
And I'm happy that she has, because I always celebrate when a role player or a backstage person that we never really get to see shows like, I can do a lot if you give me 5 minutes.
Yep.
And she maximizes her 5 minutes. So shout out to Zelina for that.
No, and Zelina cares about the title, right? And she's been great, a little, part of the story. But Dom's the one that's the trophy here.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you gain from getting him, right? Like, Rhea doesn't seem pissed off that, like, Liv is basically, because here's the thing. It's not like Liv has been attempting to get Dom, and Dom's kind of like, no, what? Dom is openly interested.
Yeah.
He is showing interest.
Trying to pretend like he's not, just doesn't want to get in trouble.
And then Dom, says the idiotic thing of "you belong to me." So it's like he's saying all these things, and Rhea, after being gone for months, the whole anticipation of this story was, how is Rhea going to react when she gets back?
Yeah, that's the whole thing everybody was waiting for, yeah.
And she came back, and she has not reacted. She just hasn't. She has shown a little bit of, being pissed.
If anything, she looks annoyed.
Yes.
Not what you would think if your wife or girlfriend is somewhere off, and then she comes back and sees, oh, you've been over here trying to, live a single life. She's not going to be just, oh, stop. That's not right. She's going to be pissed.
It's a combination.
Like, heads will roll.
You're trying to live the single life with the girl that took me out.
Yeah.
By the way, who took my title.
Right.
And by the way, our half of our group is like, we kind of like
she
Liv.
can chill here. Yeah.
Right. So Finn's having private conversations with her and stuff like that. How is Rhea not losing her? Like, I expected Rhea to come back to destroy the Judgment Day locker room, have some scenes that she had to be held back by security.
To the point where Adam Pearce had to kick her out of the building.
Something.
Yes.
The way Drew McIntyre is responding to CM Punk is the way Rhea Ripley should be responding to Dom and Liv.
We need Drew McIntyre to walk by and be like, yo, Rhea, chill.
Yeah. Come on.
Settle down.
All right?
It's not that bad.
The fact that Drew is reacting, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
right?
no, Drew's
He's
killing
getting kicked out of arenas. He's hitting Pierce. He's, I know where you live. Like, all this stuff,
It
right?
got dark real quick.
It got
I know where
real
your family
dark
sleeps.
because
like,
he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
How is Rhea Ripley not on that level? It just blows my mind. And as much as I love Rhea Ripley and I love this story, it has taken away from the spice that was her return.
Yeah, I agree.
It really has.
I really am happy to see her back. I just don't. I think I was expecting this to kind of, and maybe something will happen where it starts to kick off more.
Right.
I'm not going to immediately bury it, but I just thought from the jump, the Raw that followed up her return was going to be like, right now it's this whole episode is about just like Dom's hiding from her.
Yep.
He doesn't want to talk to her because she's she's looking for him and
Dom's hiding from her. That'd be
and
awesome.
then it could be like, oh, she's looking for him and Liv, and she just happens to find them both hiding in the same place and makes it look worse.
Yep.
But nothing like that. No. But we'll see.
Now, how do you handle this when it comes to SummerSlam? This match is official for the world title. How do you play this one out? Does Dom get involved? Where does that lead?
Honestly, at this point, I think you have to have Dom help Liv win, whether it be on purpose or just did he mean to do that?
Right.
But I would have Liv walk out with that title.
So
you got to extend the story to help it be something.
Yeah. So knowing how Triple H books, which is awesome, right? It gets you to watch every week.
Yes.
He's gonna drag this shit out. So I envision what you just said, right? Dom accidentally helps Liv wins because that only drags this out even more.
He's doing too much, I'm trying to prove that I'm with you, and it's like he just screwed this whole thing up now.
For me though, especially because Rhea, I want to see Rhea lose her mind on them, right? And we haven't seen that. I'd have Dom intentionally.
Really?
I would have Dom intentionally screw Rhea.
I think that's your follow-up.
And that might be the follow-up, but for me, I only say that for SummerSlam because I want to see Rhea snap. Like, that's what this story needs, and it's missing that. And I don't think Dom accidentally helping her would make her snap because he could still talk his way out of it, and then she's just a little more annoyed. But if he intentionally says, screw you, I think that would have her. I envision WrestleMania 20, Chris Jericho and Christian, Trish turns on Jericho, and making out.
Good callback.
Yeah, and making out with Christian at the top of the stage, right?
Yeah.
I envision that, but make Chris Jericho be Rhea Ripley, Christian be Liv, and Trish be Dom.
Yeah. So my thing is, and we're harping on this a lot, but my thing is, you have the questioned, did he mean to do that finish? Now, leading up to your next event would just be so we have it to where, because of how that ended, Adam Pearce is going to allow Rhea to get a rematch, whatever. The whole time this is building up, Dom is like sending little gifts and trying to win her back. She's ignoring him, whatever. It comes to a thing where she's going to get a rematch, but Rhea wants him banned from ringside.
Yeah.
Whatever that stipulation of that rematch would be, there's a point where I would have it booked where Rhea's in some sort of situation where like she's in a lot of peril, she's going to get hurt, Liv is going insane with it. Oh. It looks like Dom's running out because he just can't take this anymore. He has to help her. That's when he pulls the intentional turn.
Sure. I think an intentional turn needs to happen. That'll make Rhea snap. Yeah. The other world title match that was confirmed for SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa. Cody Rhodes said the main event of SummerSlam, by the way, so it sounds like...
He specified it last night,
He said it, very specifically, main event of SummerSlam. How do you feel about Solo Sikoa getting this spotlight, a main event match, a big show like SummerSlam, world title with Cody Rhodes?
You have to do it. Otherwise, I'm not taking him seriously.
Sure. I think with how aggressive this bloodline has been, it makes sense. And the whole argument is, does Solo Sikoa, the wrestler, the superstar, what he's done so far, does he deserve this spotlight? Maybe not, but the story does.
Yes.
Right? Because we are leading to a Roman Reigns return at some point, potentially SummerSlam. And we've said this before, in order for that return to mean something, in the story we're about to tell, remember they took out Paul Heyman. We have not seen Heyman since, right? We're assuming at least Jimmy Uso is going to be back with Roman. If not, do we involve Jay? We have to make that story mean something. And in order to make that mean something, we need to have who Roman Reigns is going after when he returns look legit.
Yeah.
So making them look as dominant as they have, taking out Orton, taking out KO, taking out Cody, consistently pinning Cody at Money in the Bank, being in the main event spotlight of SummerSlam for the world title, that automatically makes them look as legit as they need to look. You know what I mean? So that's where, because Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns is the guy.
Yeah.
So if we're going to not waste, but spend time on a story, it can't look like a waste. So you need to look like you're up to par to be a challenge to Roman outside of the fact that you're just family. And that's the whole point of this. Do you expect a Roman Reigns return at SummerSlam, though?
I do not.
No?
No.
How does SummerSlam end then?
Not with Solo with the title.
So Cody just beats Solo and you leave it at that?
Ah, Jimmy comes back, costs Solo the championship.
Jimmy? You just give it Jimmy? Okay, so how long before we get Roman? Because people, look, shout out to the dirt sheets, whatever.
Why SummerSlam would Roman come back?
Because SummerSlam is their marquee show. I know a lot of people thought Money in the Bank, but
so I'll reiterate my question to be more specific. First, I'll ask you, who do you have winning?
Cody.
Okay. Cody wins. Why would Roman come out?
The Bloodline starts beating down Cody after the match.
But why would he want to save Cody?
Because Solo's trying to be the tribal chief.
But couldn't Roman just confront him on his own? So that's where I get hung up. Now, the way you're saying it, it could play out, and I would be like, oh, okay, here Roman's back. It's fine. Nobody would be pissed.
No.
It's just the little details for me matter. So it's like, this dude just beat you at WrestleMania. Nothing that has happened so far, even with Solo and Roman's return would have made more sense if they were beaten down when they beat down Paul Heyman, but it happened on a SmackDown. So I don't know why Roman would be like, oh, they're doing this with Cody. I get up off this chair. It's like, why?
But I think that
for Cody?
But I think that could play into the fact of, because we expect a Roman Rock match at next year's WrestleMania. Rock still has beef with Cody.
Yeah.
So if Roman comes back to save Cody, those two gain respect from their match, right? It's kind of like, you beat me at WrestleMania, dude. Respect, right?
It actually should be the other way around. Roman should be the one getting beat down. Cody, as the top babyface, should come out and save him.
I don't hate that either.
Hey, because I respect you.
Right.
I beat you. Yes, we don't have a good history, but I respect you as a champion. I respect you as a man, and I wasn't going to sit back being the person I am and watch you get beat down by these people who turned their backs on you and disrespected you.
But unless you're dragging this out till Survivor Series, I don't see another PLE that makes sense, or show, because I don't do this on SmackDown, where it makes sense for Roman to come back.
Why not SmackDown?
Roman just.
I know he's top shelf,
and
dude.
at that point, we haven't seen him for months.
But just because he's never been done like that before, why not do it now?
I mean,
because the one thing you want to do, even with essentially with your weekly shows, I think it's important. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Why would you do it on SmackDown?" You want to have people not fall into this lull of, "Oh, it's fine, I can miss SmackDown." No, you can't.
Sure.
Because things like this might happen. You never know.
Yeah, but I feel like we're getting enough of that without doing big moments like that. And I think a Jimmy Uso return can make sense on SmackDown before SummerSlam. And then Roman...
I just think SummerSlam's a spot to do. If you're going to bring him back, because he's been gone for enough time.
I mean, Jimmy's turn happened at SummerSlam last year in Detroit.
I don't have the whole follow-up of what are you doing? Okay, well, I don't know. He just takes
we're
off
assuming
TV
Survivor
again,
Series War Games, right?
Yeah.
At that point, if you could do OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline... So you expect Roman for sure to be back by Survivor Series. Plus, that feels like a long time to drag this out.
Yeah.
I don't know. SummerSlam just feels like the spot to do it. And the fact that they're specifying we're in the main event, Cody versus Solo was not in the main event of SummerSlam.
I expect Randy Orton to show up and turn on Cody more than I expect Roman to return.
Could that happen at SummerSlam?
It could happen on SummerSlam. It could happen on SmackDown.
I think that happens. I'm going Roman returns at SummerSlam, and Randy's turn happens after SummerSlam. And that's a fall feud going into 2025. No.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I wouldn't be punching the air.
Sure.
It all would be great. For me, I don't get the optics of Roman coming back at SummerSlam for why? For what reason?
Let's get through a few more things before we get out of here. Bray Wyatt's crew, the Wyatt Six, with Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. Bo Dallas beaten down by Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. We saw the whole crew kind of out in the open for the first time. Your reaction to that whole thing, Eric Rowan's video package beforehand, how all that was handled?
Rowan's video package was really good. I kind of want to see them, even though we all saw them in the ring now and everything, but I want to see kind of these individual spots on these characters and just give me the why. Why are you here with this group? Why did you decide to go with Bo Dallas? So I really enjoyed it. It was emotional. Yeah. And he was speaking from real life stuff, which really grabs you. But as far as that whole segment, the beat down where he's just laughing the whole time, I got like Joker Batman vibes.
Yes.
Which was really cool. And then it's great to see the Creeds with Chad Gable. You kind of knew that was coming at some point.
Right.
But I liked their reaction to it when they all started coming out, and it's just the entrance, and it's like, we're gonna stand here and try and fight. Never mind, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was great. It's like, yeah, dude, they're scary. What the hell? Get out of the ring.
Yeah,
It was a good segment. It was well done. It was cool to see them all in the ring together.
Yeah, that video package was amazing. Again, I love that we're taking the time to what the reason behind this, right? Again, the story behind it.
I want to see Joe Gacy's. I want to see Dexter Loomis's.
Yes.
I want to see, I want to see all of it. So.
Yes, like the cool. They look cool. They're creepy. Bray Wyatt, great, but give me more reason behind.
Yes.
Give me more meaning behind.
Give me
them.
the why.
I love that. Right, Bo Dallas. The selling was amazing. The resemblance. I know they're brothers, obviously, but the resemblance to Bray Wyatt.
It's crazy.
When it comes to the voice, the look, the everything, amazing.
Just a slightly slimmer Bray Wyatt.
The one thing I didn't love is it felt like the Creed brothers joining Gable should have been the spotlight of a segment.
Yeah,
and it feels like this got buried in, right? It kind of got buried into the bigger deal of, oh my God, Bo Dallas is here. The great selling, the crew, like the look of them together. That feels like that outshined how big of a deal is that we're basically getting Team Angle 2.0 with the Creed brothers and Chad Gable. That felt like that should have been a bigger deal for a segment there. So AEW Blood and Guts coming up in Nashville. Team AEW is set. Swerve, Darby Allin joining the crew, right? Mark Briscoe was already in there, and the Acclaimed going after Team Elite. How do you feel with the roster for Team AEW?
I called the Acclaim thing a while back too.
That's a problem.
People laughed at me. No.
Yeah, I'm still laughing.
I do like. Well, you go ahead. Here's the thing. It's because it makes sense to me.
It makes sense.
When you have these multi-person match, big tag match, whatever, it makes sense when you have tag teams or individuals feuding with people on the other side, and you all just kind of come together against common enemy or whatever. Mark Briscoe is kind of the one that's on the kind of the out, but he's entertaining enough to where I want to see him get that shine, get that push. I love his like out of there promos and all that.
Sure.
So I'm with it. I like it. It's the end of Dynamite was cool. To get the reveal for the 5th member.
It was cool. It makes sense. I will say that the story makes sense. Mark Briscoe's, like you said, the only one that's like, okay, was he?
Yeah, he's kind of a wild card. They're like, why are you here?
Because his blood and guts, right? Darby and Jack Perry seem to be an all-in match, which I'm for that for the TNT
title. Shout out to
title.
Darby's entrance, though.
Yeah,
I loved it. Nice nod to Sting. I loved it.
Nice nod to Sting. Don't do that too much, I will say.
Don't do it too much because we don't want Tony Schiavone yelling too many things.
First off, by the way, which we'll get to that. But when it comes to Blood and Guts, I'm still stuck on, especially with Allin coming up, the fact that this is the crazy bosses. I wanted the biggest stars in AEW on this. I think the MJF Ospreay thing could have started in Blood and Guts with both of them on Team AEW. I'm good with Darby there, right? The Acclaimed, it makes sense. That's probably a tag match for All in London. They just don't deserve this spot. They don't. They're past their prime of being over. The story makes sense, so I'll give them props for that.
That's what I'm going with. It's not that I'm saying, no, they deserve. The story makes sense.
Sure.
That's why.
I'll give you that. Back in WWE, Sonya Deville starting a crew with Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. How do you feel about this faction?
Give me something in the women's division.
Yeah.
There's, again, people maximizing their 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever you get.
Yeah. Bianca Belair and Chelsea, Jesus.
Yeah, there are women on this roster who are ultra talented and they can go in the ring. If you have to team them up to be a faction, I know we've seen it a million times over, but give me something to give them. Just give them a chance to shine. And they look intimidating as a crew.
Right. Now, Sonya Deville's been awesome in the past. She is great on the mic. This is a perfect role for her, kind of like the Bayley role in Damage Control, where you're great on the mic so you can be a manager to make the other two look bigger, but you're also great in the ring and you can get in there and do it yourself. If this faction continues to grow, I'd love to see all the gold on them a year from now, like if they continue to build. Because Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler, they both have the same problem. They're good physically. Yeah. They're not good on the mic.
It's the presentation that we did have with Bianca and Jade.
Yes.
It's, you look at them optically, it's like, well, you can kick everybody's ass.
Yes.
So when I see these three women, well, you could probably kick everybody's ass on Raw, the women's roster. You could probably beat up some of the guys too.
And the best part about it is they can talk about it because Sonya's great, and Zoey and Shayna don't need to do much of the talking.
They don't have to do much
anymore.
talking. They just do a lot of physical brute force, which is great.
You mentioned that Tony Schiavone kind of making some headlines on Dynamite. How'd you feel about him during the Mariah May promo, calling her a bitch?
It was. I know a lot of people are going to be like, it was not that. It was kind of it was jarring.
Yes.
Because it came out of nowhere.
Yes.
To the point where I'm watching, I'm like, Jesus, Tony, chill. Like, what the hell was that, dude?
I feel like the reactions of Taz and Excalibur were legit. Like,
are
bro,
you all right? Like,
chill.
kick it, dude. Like,
chill.
Relax.
Yeah.
You get it? Like, you hear Jim Ross, that bitch. Like,
no.
It was always that Jezebel, that witch. That
right?
is, but it's like, if Jim Ross back in the day would have been like, Stephanie McMahon, that bitch, Stephanie McMahon. It's like, dude. Pull it.
We know how
it wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary. We know how derogatory that is to say toward a female. We don't need to get into that. That's common sense at this point. The whole AEW commentary team needs work, right?
Yes.
Taz is the only, and this goes for all shows, Taz is the only bright spot of AEW commentary, right? And some of it may not be their fault.
Sometimes accidentally so.
Sometimes accidentally, but hey, he gets it, gets it in.
Yeah.
But when it comes to AEW's commentary, and this goes across the board, and it may not be all of their faults, the point of commentary is supposed to be pushing a story, right? Yes. Excalibur, quit calling all these moves. You're over calling the moves, right?
I hate that.
They just don't talk about. They don't have any banter about story during a match.
They banter amongst themselves
about BS, right?
Yeah.
Like talk about the stories about the wrestlers that are in there. Stop over calling their moves.
Even Taz, like there was a whole thing. I forgot who was it. Forbidden Door. He's going off how he hates that the guy's wearing orange. I forgot who it was. Was Zack Sabre?
Yeah, it was Sabre.
Why are you wearing orange? Was it? It's like, yeah, did we get it? That's your color. Chill. We got it. But you're going on a 5-minute diatribe about this dude's wearing orange and it annoys you.
And it's just like when you have wrestlers in the ring, stop overcalling their moves. Again, it goes back to we've been watching wrestling for over 25 years, right? At this level, we know what all the moves are. Quit doing that. Telling me the stories behind the people in the ring, getting me to care.
This is why Jim Ross in his prime was so much more effective during the Attitude Era days, because if you switch onto the other channel, you had Tony Schiavone and Mike Tenay and Bobby the Brain Heenan. God rest his soul, I love that man. But they're calling there's a Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko cruiserweight match happening on WCW Nitro in the ring for 10 minutes, and they're talking about the opening segment with Hollywood Hogan and the NWO. And I'm just like, dude, there's a great match going on in the ring. By the way, if you guys want to call this, Jim Ross would give you the backstory. He's kind of like you're watching baseball. He was a linebacker at such and such college. And I'm like, okay, well, now I know a lot about this guy.
Yeah, whether it's that or whatever they're doing on TV, give me a reason to care about this person. Tony Schiavone specifically has always been somebody in AEW, at least, who tries to make the moment about him way too much. Yeah. And he started doing that a lot when Sting came back and the whole Sting thing. Yeah. And he just like how much he hates the heels, and he just starts going off. It's like, dude, okay.
The Sting call, I get because it's a throwback to back in the day, NWO and Sting. It's Sting. Like, I got it. The novelty of that was always cool as an older fan to hear. But yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I get you're trying to push Mariah May as a heel. That's great. This is not the way to do
There's other ways to do it.
Yeah.
Talk about how vile her actions were.
Yes.
Without calling her that.
Right off the rip, like she hadn't even said anything.
She hadn't even and it's just like, speak. I'm like, whoa, okay. Dude, chill. Like,
and what is your connection to Tony Storm for you to care so that much? like if it was Britt Baker, it would have made sense. They're known to be best friends.
Yeah.
What is your connection to Tony Storm?
It's not even about being sensitive. It was jarring, dude. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary.
In WWE, Pete Dunne showing signs of a singles run. I know Tyler Bates hurt. How much of a singles run do you want to see from Pete Dunne?
As far as we can go with it.
Yeah.
I'll give me banger after banger with him and Sheamus. Let's just do it.
I love Pete Dunne. It makes sense. Like, why would he want to be with Sheamus? Sheamus kind of just left the Brawling Brutes.
Ditched him. Yeah,
just casually ditched him. And heel Pete Dunne from his NXT days, not heel Butch.
The bruiserweight. Yeah.
All that bullshit.
No, see, Sheamus left Butch.
Yes.
He didn't leave Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's a whole new person.
You didn't know about Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne being a heel on the main roster. I'm not trying to push a title run or anything.
No.
But man, it could be quality.
Just have him. All he has to do is show up every week, just hurt people. That's it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Damian Priest, last thing, kind of showing some babyface vibes in this feud with Gunther. How do you feel about that, and what it could mean for him in the Judgment Day?
I feel like we're at the point where Damian Priest has outgrown that group. If he hasn't already, he's damn close. I think, and he is a face. The crowd is going to react to him as such because I think the fans, and organically so, I think he's won the fans over as a world champion. Now, of course, they'd be happy to see CM Punk or anyone, but he's accepted now by the crowd. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, we're going to boom because he turned on Judgment Day. No.
Yeah. No, I think, I said it before, Damian Priest should beat Gunther at SummerSlam. I'm with that. I think this could lead to, and this is where I go back to Dom intentionally screwing over Rhea. I think Finn's involved in that, and it's almost like a new look Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I know we've done that before with Edge, but It makes sense.
Judgment Day 3.0.
Judgment Day 3.0, shout out to them. But I think Priest and Rhea as a babyface tandem, right? Getting in the way, right? Like, I think that's what this could lead to if Priest stays on his babyface run, has Rhea's back, when she gets screwed by Dom and Liv. That's kind of your pairing leading off. I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Roar Around the Ring is available every week. Find us on YouTube at Roar Around the Ring. He's that dude, Darrell Teeler. I'm Justin Valentine. Talk to you guys very soon.